Sis, you need to be careful about who you date. Okay, you're cute and have a great personality, but you're a little too easygoing and sometimes spacey. You could get taken advantage of by the wrong kind of guy. You know, you really think you should be with a loser like him. He's just a deadbeat, good for nothing in society. You should break up with him right away. I was misjudged by her younger sister and looked down upon as a deadbeat. Her voice echoed loudly across the floor, drawing the attention of everyone around us. Among them was the face of the hospital director, and I nervously scratched the back of my head, realizing I was in deep trouble. That was a real low point for her younger sister. My name is David. I have a medical license, but I've been out of the country until recently, so I'm currently not employed. Right now, I'm enjoying a relaxed, carefree life. Back when I worked as a surgeon at a university hospital, I was so busy I barely had time to eat or even take a break. Now, I cherish the moments when I can enjoy a warm meal or sleep through the night in my own bed. Today, I had a long-awaited date with my girlfriend, Catherine. Catherine and I went to the same college. We first met on the day of our entrance exams when our seats happened to be next to each other. Even though it was such an important day, I had forgotten my eraser and was panicking. Seeing my distress, she offered me a brand new eraser she had as a spare, saying, "We both worked so hard to get here, right? We should help each other out at times like this. Please don't hesitate to accept." With that kind gesture, she seemed like an angel to me, and I began to fall for her. Luckily, both Catherine and I passed the exams, and we reconnected at the orientation. She recognized me, and we became friends. From then on, my actions revolved around her. I always made an effort to strike up a conversation and be friends, making sure to sit close to her during lectures. I researched everything she seemed interested in, so we'd have common topics to talk about, and I even studied fashion to make sure I looked my best. The only thing I couldn't change was my height. Of course, I didn't want her to lose interest, so I also worked hard academically. Thanks to my relentless studying, I was able to consistently achieve top grades in our class, and Catherine began to rely on me more and more. And then, it was during the summer of my sophomore year in college. On a trip night with my buddies, I managed to take her for a walk. It was a moonlit night, still a tad humid. The lodging was conveniently located, just a short walk to the beach, so we headed towards the ocean on foot. The nighttime sea was in stark contrast to the bustling daytime. It was tranquil with only the sound of the waves echoing. The modest moonlight reflected on the water, shimmering like stars. It feels like I could watch this forever. It's so mystical and beautiful. I couldn't clearly see Catherine's face in the darkness, but I could tell she was probably smiling gently, and I felt an overwhelming surge of emotions. "Catherine, I love you." I had thought of many scenarios for my confession, but when the moment came, it seems only cliched words came out. When I said those words, she looked at me in surprise. Her big eyes widened even more as she slowly brought both hands to her mouth. "Wait, David, really? Yes, it's true. I fell for you when you lent me an eraser during exams. Please, be my girlfriend," I said, bowing my head and extending my right hand towards her. It felt like an eternity, but it was probably only a few seconds. After a brief pause, when she touched my hand, I abruptly looked up. She seemed momentarily taken aback, but soon greeted me with a smile. "If you're okay with me, I'd love to. I've always admired how dedicated you are, David, and I thought you were cool." "Really?" "Yes, really. Let's make it work." With that, she bowed her head to me. In return, I also bowed, and the two of us found ourselves repeatedly bowing, which became comical, and we shared a laugh. From that day on, we've been together. Over time, because we've been together for so long, our ways of thinking have become similar, and sometimes we're jokingly referred to as an old married couple, but I always find myself falling for Catherine all over again. Even today, seeing her happily holding a cup of hot chocolate, she looks so adorable. Her burgundy knit sweater, her black flared skirt, and her houndstooth scarf all fit her as if they were custom made. Could it be that this entire world exists just for her? Maybe Catherine truly is a goddess. David, what have you been up to since returning to the States? After sharing most of my recent life, Catherine, tilting her head slightly, asked me that. Her gesture was as endearing as a small animal. I wanted to shout to the world how cute she is. Suppressing such thoughts deep within my heart, I answered nonchalantly. Well, I haven't settled down yet, so I'll be living in a hotel for a while. Can't really splurge since I have no income. After all, I'm unemployed now. You actually call yourself unemployed? She laughed amusingly at that. I think her smile is a national treasure. No, a world treasure. I wish I could buy it with all my wealth. I'm not working, so no income. As I made that self-deprecating joke, she laughed. Such precious moments. I wish they could last forever. But life isn't always that kind. Catherine. Suddenly, a voice clearly aimed at her rang out. When both of them turned towards the voice, a woman stood there with a stern expression. She came right next to the table where we were having coffee and started talking to Catherine. Sis, what a coincidence. A date. Oh, Heather, truly unexpected. Yes, we're on a date right now. This is David. David, this is my younger sister, Heather. Your younger sister. Nice to meet you, Heather. Reaching out to shake her hand, she openly looked at him with disdain and ignored his gesture. Huh, she's ignoring me. What should I do with this outstretched hand? You need to be careful about the men you date. You are pretty and have a good personality, but you're a bit naive. It would be terrible if you deceived by some shady guy. What? David is not like that. I overheard your conversation earlier. He's unemployed and has no income, right? He's not even handsome and is short. I don't get why you're with him. That was just a joke, you know. He's actually. Anyway, I will never accept him. I'll do everything I can to interfere. I have an appointment, so I have to go. Goodbye. Saying this, she glared at me and left the cafe. She had a takeaway coffee in hand, so she must have just stopped by for a moment. Her fast-paced walk seemed courageous. Heather can be a bit strong-willed, but she's very talented. She's younger than us. She gets good grades, and she's starting her internship at a university hospital next week. Oh, I see. Considering she's younger than us, Heather must be a medical student. You two seem close. We are. She's my adorable little sister. I'm sure the misunderstanding will be cleared up, so please get along with her. I nodded at her cheerful demeanor. It felt like I was looking at the Virgin Mary, or so I whimsically thought. A few days after my date with Catherine, I had a reason to visit the university hospital where Catherine works. I used to work here, and to add to that, I graduated from the affiliated college of this hospital. It feels like home to me. My business was over quickly, and as I waited in the elevator lobby, thinking of seeing Catherine and heading home, a group of individuals in white coats approached from behind. It seems they were medical interns with their supervising doctors. I recognized some of the doctors, but among the interns, there was one familiar face. She noticed me and exclaimed, "Oh, why are you here?" The one pointing and shouting at me was Catherine's younger sister, Heather. Pointing at someone is considered rude, I thought, trying to muster a smile. I couldn't tell her the real reason I was here, so as I was thinking of a way to sidestep the question, Heather continued her rant. "Did you come to see Catherine? What are you, a stalker? Jobless, ugly, and a stalker? How low can you go? I won't let you near her, you criminal." Hey, calm down, Heather. Don't call me by my name. Just because my sister is kind and can be easily deceived doesn't mean she's calling for a man like you. Just go home and be jobless. My sister deserves someone smart, high-earning, tall, handsome, kind, and capable of doing house chores. The exact opposite of you. Hey, stop it, Heather. This man is. Stay away from my sister. If you keep hanging around, I'll call the police. Oh, I don't have my phone because I'm on duty. Is this your doing? What are you talking about, Heather? Calm down, please. You seem really confused. One of my former colleagues, a doctor, tried to intervene. but Heather kept glaring at me. Look, this man used to be Dr. Abbott, a surgeon at this hospital. What, a doctor? Heather looked back and forth between me and the former colleague, surprised. But didn't you say he was jobless and had no income? Well, I had just returned from Germany and hadn't settled into a job yet, so technically, I was without an income at that time. But even if you had a medical license, if you didn't have a job, you were unemployed, right? That's true, but David will be rejoining our staff as of today. The person who said this, emerging from behind, was the hospital's director. This elderly gentleman with a laid-back demeanor handed me a paper while smiling. David, you left this behind. Here's your appointment letter. See, it's dated today for your return to surgery. The interns should remember his face. He's a brilliant surgeon who's pulled off numerous complex surgeries. Watching him operate is a great learning experience. Indeed, the reason I came to this university hospital today was to work here again. The director, Johnson, had graciously sent me off to Germany and ensured I had a place when I returned. The director always believed in my skills and tolerated my whims. But I owe a lot to Director Johnson, and I need to repay those favors. Hey, Heather, you wanted to be a surgeon, right? You'll be owing a lot to him. Better thank him now while you can. The doctor standing next to Heather said, patting her shoulder. Heather, in shock, murmured, I can't believe it. Well, it can't be helped. I hate to say it about myself, but I kind of look unreliable, and some even say I look just like a student. But no matter how good a surgeon he is, he's been neglecting my sister for so long. I know Catherine's been lonely, so I wanted to see what kind of guy her boyfriend was and followed you, and you seemed so unreliable. I've been neglecting Catherine. It hurts when she says that. Heather probably loves her sister, Catherine, very much. That's why she's so aggressive towards me. If her sister's seemingly neglectful boyfriend turned out to be unemployed, it'd make sense for her to be upset. After all, I was the one who convinced Catherine to stay behind while I went to Germany alone. But it was just as I was about to speak. A chime, different from the usual announcement in the hospital, echoed throughout. All the doctors present turned pale. Code blue, all medical staff, please assemble at the cardiology department. Hearing this, I immediately ran. A code blue is broadcasted when a critical emergency occurs and immediate medical attention is needed. Several other doctors and nurses also rushed towards the location. Of course, I wanted to save a life, but I was also filled with a bad premonition. Catherine was visiting the hospital today for a regular checkup because of her heart condition. I thought I'd see her after finishing my own tasks since medical exams usually involve a lot of waiting. Catherine has a rare heart condition, so she needs to undergo regular checkups. There are many patients at the university hospital, so I was hoping it wasn't her. Even though I felt that way, the nagging feeling wouldn't go away. And as it turned out, my hunch was spot on. Catherine. Hang in there, Catherine. It was undoubtedly Catherine that the nurse was desperately performing CPR on. She had a ghost-white face, with her eyes firmly closed. She seemed utterly worn out, and her breathing appeared quite labored. Catherine, what happened? I asked a nearby nurse about the situation. She collapsed suddenly after her examination. We've been performing chest compressions for the past 2 minutes. The AED is ready. Got it, let me take over. Please do. Catherine, wake up, Catherine. I took over the CPR from the nurse and kept calling out to her. But there was no change in Catherine's condition. The medical team was bustling around us. It's all to save a life. My sister. No way, why? Heather, who seemed to have arrived later, was also there. But I couldn't pay attention to her right now. I desperately called out to Catherine while performing CPR. The AED is here. A doctor rushed over with an AED and promptly began to set it up. It's ready. Step back, Dr. Abbott. An electric jolt was administered with a beeping sound. But the situation remained unchanged. Catherine, Catherine, I continued CPR while waiting for the next electric shock. Administering shock, step back. After the second shock, Catherine showed a faint coughing response. She's back. A response meant her heartbeat had returned. A wave of relief washed over everyone present, but it was too soon to relax. David, the operation room is ready. Can you do it? Absolutely. Let's do it. His calm demeanor from earlier was gone. The serious expression came from Director Johnson, the hospital director. Director Johnson was aware of Catherine's condition and had allowed me to continue my medical duties while also treating her. He'd consistently updated me on the progress of her condition and her test results. Of course, we'd obtained her permission first. Catherine's condition was rare in the States, so it was largely unclear how to treat it. The only treatment was symptomatic, and it was agonizing to just watch her heart weaken over time. She had accepted her illness and merely offered resigned smiles. Then, I found a paper from Germany detailing similar cases that had been completely cured with surgery. It was a ray of hope for me. If there was a chance to cure Catherine's illness, I'd do whatever it took. Without a second thought, I reached out to a hospital in Germany. And in no time, my trip to Germany was set. However, Catherine was hesitant. I appreciate your feelings, David, but I might not have much time left. It'd be too lonely without you by my side. I don't want to be alone. Please, stay with me. Let's create a few more memories. I wish you wouldn't say that. You mean everything to me, and without you, my life would be pointless. So please, I'm begging you, don't give up on your life. You're a doctor, right? Doctors shouldn't give up on lives. I promise I'll save you. Just hold on a little longer. Please, stay strong for me. After an emotional exchange filled with tears, Catherine finally relented. She recognized my medical skills and achievements. She said she believed in me. David, I'll be waiting. I believe in you. Just hang in there. I'm going to learn everything I can as fast as possible. Take care of yourself until then. Okay, you too, don't wear yourself out. A year and a half passed. It took longer than I'd anticipated, but I gained surgical experience in Germany and conducted research on similar cases. With newfound confidence in saving Catherine's life, I returned to the States. What do you mean, surgery? Is my sister really that bad? I thought she was just feeling a bit under the weather. Pushing through the crowd, Heather approached me. Heather looked pale, on the verge of tears. Understandably so, given her beloved sister had just suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. She probably didn't want to worry you, so she didn't tell you everything. I believe she had faith that she'd get better. Don't worry, I'll fix this. That's why I went all the way to Germany. I didn't cross the ocean just on a whim. The words I told Heather were also reminders for myself. I want you to contact your parents. It's all right. How can a doctor not believe in the vitality of a patient? Your sister, Catherine, she's strong, right? Yes, I know that even without you telling me. My sister won't be defeated by this. I trust you. Please, save her. Yes, I'll definitely save her. With determination in my heart, I hurried to the operating room. I went through my pre-surgery routine, calming my nerves. Changing, wearing a mask, washing my hands. I double-checked all the essentials and looked over the medical staff. Let's begin the surgery. The operation took a long 10 hours, but it was successful. A few weeks after the surgery, I peeked into Catherine's room. There was Heather, dressed in casual clothes, chatting away happily. Catherine, how are you feeling? I'm recovering very well. Everyone's been kind, and it's comfortable. It's just a bummer I can't walk around much. Well, your heart did stop once. Just bear with it for a bit. By the way, Heather, are you taking a break from your training? I'm off today. I'll be in surgery from tomorrow. Take care, big bro. It seems like Heather's perception of me has changed since that incident. She appears to appreciate me more. Moreover, she has started coming to me with questions about her training. Our communication has improved, and I'm relieved. Oh, I'm getting thirsty. The only place to get her drink is the convenience store downstairs. It'll take a while, but I'll go get something. You too, take your time. Heather said, exiting the room with a mischievous smile. I couldn't help but smile at her casual thoughtfulness. Having nothing pressing to attend to, I took a seat next to Catherine's bed. There were moments I thought things might go south, but I'm glad. It's all thanks to you, David. From the day we first met during our exams, when I only lent you an eraser, to now, saving my life. If it weren't for you, my life would have been entirely different. Thank you. Saying this, Catherine took my hand. Her hand felt warm, a reaffirmation of life. I felt a surge of happiness and gently squeezed her hand in return. If it weren't for you, Catherine, I wouldn't have been living my life this passionately. Whether it was college studies or becoming a doctor, I pushed through wanting to impress you. You're the driving force of my life. So, we both can't do without each other, huh? Yeah, please, live long. You too, David. We laughed together. Later, Catherine made a full recovery and returned to work. She consults her health but lives each day at her own pace. The beautiful and kind doctor is popular in the outpatient department as always. Heather is diligently working on her medical training. She was inspired by Catherine and chose the path of becoming a doctor. She's hardworking and seems to have a knack for it. However, she still tends to jump to conclusions, and there's room for improvement. I genuinely hope she does her best. As for me, my days are packed. Director Johnson had facilitated my trip to Germany. In return, he often hints at that favor, keeping me on my toes. Well, I do feel indebted and want to repay the kindness. Despite the ups and downs, I'm glad I never gave up. My determination, which even took me to Germany, successfully saved Catherine. But it wasn't just my effort, it was Catherine's will to live, Heather and her family's support, help from the director and others around us. It made me realize how much love surrounded Catherine. But of course, I believe I love her the most. Every day with the one you love isn't something to be taken for granted. So, I want to cherish each day. I won't ever give up on our happiness. With that thought, I swore to give my all today and every day.